understand and believe that business exists to do one thing, that is to make money. But this isn't entirely true. When business has a higher purpose, they can really bring in a significant change and do a world of good for the humankind. I also know that it's difficult for people to understand what is a higher purpose, because they still feel the higher purpose is to make money. The bigger purpose of business is to do something which is beyond your bottom line, beyond your profits. And we need to look at that particular aspect as we move on. If you have read the book, Good to Great by author Jim Collins, he has stated very, very specifically the success that those great companies have strived hard for beyond the financial success. They have done it because they were motivated by higher values. So this is some of the agenda I'm going to talk about today. It's covering 5 different angles, and I'm going to touch on each of those angles as I move along. In this particular case, the whole thing is, if I'm doing business consciously, and that is the key to success, how do I upgrade the status of my society and the planet that I live in? The first and foremost, I'm going to talk about sustainability canvas. So, you are aware that United Nations has come out with 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDG. Like all big enterprises in the world, India is also part of them. We have a commitment towards the 17 SDGs. But like all other global enterprises, we have only one, and that is the goal 11, which is basically talking about sustainability communities and cities. Why we are doing this? Because we feel that we are very well aligned to this, because of our central theme of the connected, enabling the connected future. Internally, how do we align to it? So NTT is, among the different business lines, is one of the top 3 global data center players in the world. So we have more than 175 data centers across the world. We are number 1 in India by a long margin, and we basically, when we look at sustainability, in fact, on the same lines, when we have the people from Calcutta, you'll be happy to know that we are taking up a 7.5 acres of land in Calcutta and building up a campus data center. In fact, work is going to start from this month only. So we look at 5 different areas where we build up any facilities, and that's great facility. So the facilities that we talk about has to have a parameter of energy into it. So basically, look at conservation of energy, alternate energy. Look at the construction. What are the materials we use for that? Look at the treatment of the water. How do you use the water? Look at the management of the e-waste, and as well as look at the cooling and heating. Because if you are familiar with the data center, you know it's like a power guzzler. How do you work around the cooling and treatment of it, because it consumes too much of power? Externally. Now I will talk about some connected themes externally, which are basically related to the environment. And we have picked up 3 connected themes for this. So one is basically talking about the connected planet, the connected economy, and the connected communities. So when we're talking about the connected planet, I'm talking about using the solutions that help protect, restore, and regenerate the natural world. And the 3 different priorities that we have in this connected planet are looking at climate change, biodiversity, and circularity. On the connected economy, I'm using trusted technology to help organizations thrive and make contributions, which is beyond and helping them for the resilient digital future. So smart solutions, private security, ethics, value, and governance. And lastly, on the connected communities, we are basically supporting the diverse, inclusive, and accessible communities to ensure that everyone has an opportunity to thrive in this particular world. You have heard about net zero. You know what a net zero is. The question is, and this should not be a buzzword or lip service, which is basically becoming the fact. Are you all doing the net zero in our own sphere of life? As far as NTT is concerned, we have committed our net zero to the data center business in India by 27, 28, and as far as NTT Global by 2030 in scope 1 and 2, and by 2040 by scope 4. How many of us in this audience have committed to a net zero sustainability program? So basically what we're trying to say is, we need to do much beyond business and own things up, okay? And have a key play in the sustainability, because it concerns everyone. It's the future. The next one is employees. How are we looking at employees? If you look at today's business, the key thing is humanizing the brand. Okay, employees, that basically look at substantiating the strengths of a leader and compensating for their weakness. Are we looking at the employees as a whole? And if we are, what are we doing in that? Don't forget, if you're talking about CX, customer experience, the CX actually starts from EX, which is the employee experience. Employees are the center of everything. How many organizations really have full-fledged programs about the employees? How many do the EX on an annual basis or a semi-annual basis? We take the employees at times, unfortunately, for granted. Okay, and that's the biggest mistake we start making. So basically, look at emotional engagement, look at communications, look at something which is beyond their work. The other aspect of employee is, are you helping them in the reskilling and upskilling? If you are, what are you doing? What are your different objectives that you have? Like for example, in NTT, we ensure that the senior management, top management and implement management, they basically are taken for a campus, 3 days or 4 days of campus, where they sit in the university campus and go through different classroom teachings, brainstormings. Okay, this is part and parcel of life. You have to ensure your employees are looked after and skilled. Because if you have, some of you may be knowing the quote of Albert Toffler, okay, the author in the future is who said, the illiterates of the 21st century are the ones who do not know how to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Okay, so always remember this. This is a very, very vital step. Employee activities. Are they only doing the work for the business? Are they doing only for the skilling and skilling? No, certainly not. They should have a 360 view. If they need to know, you need to have a bonding activities which is beyond your office work. Like for example, we have a cricketing and other sports activities which is on the corner. They should be aware of what's happening in the ecosystem. Be it the art tower, be it the conservation of the ecosystem, clearing up the beaches, or even looking at the wellness of the employees. Are we doing enough in terms of ensuring the health and safety and wellness of not only the employees but their family members? In NTT, the family members of the employees are part of the team. We ensure they come and visit our office on a very frequent basis. So the families of the employees, if you get them connected, you are building up a bond with the employees. So the employees wants to have a life of so much high attrition, they will come and be a barrier in their living. If I'm looking at conscious business, basically if you look at, there are 3 dimensions. One is the impersonal one, where we're talking about something shareholder value, we're talking about productivity, etc. The other one we're talking about interpersonal, between the employees. And the third one is personal. If a conscious business, I talked about conscious capitalism, I talked about conscious work culture, now this is conscious business, where I need to have a harmony between these 3 dimensions in order to be effective. The third nugget on customer. Everyone is interested in getting a customer, getting a purchase order. If you look at how are you really nurturing the customers, if you look at a typical customer journey, everyone is in 1, 2, 3, and 4, where you get the customers, acquire the customers, and you start celebrating. The real game begins with 5, 6, 7, and 8. What are you doing with the customers? How are you treating the customers, and how is it going to be a value enhancer for your business? Very few companies do this. They basically work with the customers in charting out a future roadmap. They do co-innovation labs. They basically work with the customers in deriving what is the future strategy, not only with the customers. Some companies have taken to the level of being on the board of those customers and designing the strategy and expansion plans. This is a real nurturing of the customers going beyond their mere acquisition and the purchase order. The other one, customer advisory councils, where you get a set of customers and you interact with them, not talk business, not talk shop, but basically talk on something topical, something which is of interest, something of your problem areas. What is the problem areas is actually your problem areas. And what, as a company, you tend to gain a lot of things, be it in terms of innovation, be it in terms of market insights, be it in terms of knowing what's happening in the ecosystem. And finally, is the customer loyalty, the cementing, the bonding that comes in. Okay? So there's a whole lot of benefit that you derive if you play your card well and look at areas which is beyond the typical transactions that all of us do on a daily basis. Societal impact. Companies are very open and raise their hand and say, yes, we do CSR. The easiest thing in the world is to write a check of 2% as a CSR. Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. There's no great shakes in that. What are you doing beyond that? Is your skin in the game? Are you owning anything? That is the question we should be asking ourselves, not writing a check of 2%. The school in Bombay, which NTT has been associated, deeply associated, in fact, it's in the fabric of NTT for the last 6 to 7 years. This is a girls' school. We take care of this school in and out, not only from the education point of view, intellectual development point of view. We set up their technology labs, we set up their science labs, we organize the field visits, they come and visit us. We have engineers looking after their entire setup in the school. And the only part comes in when each and every part of their activity, we are part of it. So be it your school day, be it your sports day, be it your children's day, you name it. Our senior executives of entity are there at the premises. This is called embedding in the deep fabric of the company. This is called owning it end to end. This is called we call it our school. We have to live it. Going beyond the girls' education, a lot of women have suffered pre-pandemic and during the pandemic. They have moved out of their corporate life. Whatever reasons, we're not getting into it. As a corporate, we came forward and said, we need to help these women to come back to the mainstream, to come back to the work area. So we basically look at Academy of Women Empowerment. If women who want to come into the technology sector, we are giving them training. Post the training, we are absorbing them in our workplace. So basically, we are reaching out to those women who needs help to come back and be a part of the technology workforce. There are other companies who have played a great role in this. This is a e-job work that has happened to some of the FMCG companies. Right now, it's more than, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it is around 4 lakh or 4.5, 5 lakhs of farmers who have benefited from this program. It has spread over 35,000 villages. A great way of enhancing the life of people in the ecosystem. When we talk about ecosystem, it need not be that we are talking about metros and the main cities. It has to be all inclusive. It has to spread across the tier 4, tier 5 cities of the country. Internet connectivity, we felt the maximum during the pandemic. Okay, when the villages or the tier 3, tier 4 were the maximum impact. That is where corporations, multinationals, and Indians came forward and provided connectivity. The poor children in those tier 3, tier 4 villages had a means to continue with their education. Otherwise, they would have been left behind. This is coming and doing for the betterment and upliftment of the society, social upliftment we talk about. This is real, a positive impact. Our business doing this, or our teachers writing a check for 2% to the CSR, and then fine, we are doing social work. There's a difference in this too. That's why we're talking about we need to do all this, which is beyond the bottom line. Leveraging technology. We come from tech space.